So let's move on to the start of the week for this week. Jake, I've been waiting for this.
Let's hear you badmouth my start of the week, but it is an anti-homer pick for me this week. This is Darnell Mooney at Green Bay, and it's very simple, Dustin. You talked about it already last week or week one with San Francisco and Chicago. That was the slop game. That was the rain mud game. We didn't really get to see anything, and I, luckily I'd sat Darnell Mooney because of the weather there, and that was great. But what we saw in the Minnesota Green Bay game, Dustin, which we both watched very closely, was concerning because Justin Jefferson went the fuck off, almost to the tune of 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, it was damn close to that stat line. What was concerning was the comments after the fact. So this defense, which I think both you and I really like the Green Bay defense this year in theory, because that secondary should be incredible. We got Jair Alexander, who we know to be wonderful, one of the best corners in the league. That's not us talking. That is actual experts saying this, right? And then Rasul Douglas, who we saw great things from last year, who had to step in a pinch, got big money this offseason, looked fantastic. Our Eric Stokes, rookie last year, corner, who did great things last year. First round pick, came in this year. We're like, all right, this trio should be amazing. And with all that said, Justin Jefferson just basically uncovered for a lot of the day because they decided to use a zone defense scheme and didn't adapt at all. And the post-game comments from Matt LaFleur suggested that they won't adapt to that this is their scheme. They're not going to let week one dictate everything, which is fine. And the Bears do not have the same caliber of offense that the Vikings do, obviously. There is really maybe 2 threats. It's Darnell Mooney and then Cole Kmet. If you want to lump David Montgomery in there, you're free to. I don't think his team wants to, but you're free to. But I really do think that this is the case. If you're just going to be doing this zone coverage all game long, there's still going to be plenty of openings for Darnell Mooney to get going. Maybe this is a game where, the Bears play from behind, fingers crossed. But either way, this is big play potential in a guy, going against a defense that's what they're doing right now. They are unfortunately allowing those big plays, and I don't think it's going to change. So Darnell Mooney, look, it's not going to be a Justin Jefferson stat line, but I think he's going to be very solid this week.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. I do think that the Packers defense will rebound a bit this week, and they will take care of some of these glaring deficiencies that we saw. And let's be honest, Justin Jefferson, if you're trying to compare Justin Jefferson to Darnell Mooney,
I'm not doing
out
that.
of your fucking mind.
I'm not doing that.
They're not even close to the same receiver. Justin Jefferson is just a special kind of receiver. There's a reason why he's had like the most receiving yards in the first 2 years in the league, because he is that special a player. So sure. I understand what you're saying, Jake. What we saw this last week out of the Packers defense was not great at all. In fact, it was the complete opposite of great. And I understand the concern, but like you said, this Bears offense is not something special, I hope. And I do expect the defense to rebound a bit this week. So,
well, it's a win-win for me, Dustin, because guess what? If he does poorly, that means the Bears lose basically automatically. But if he does all right, then my fantasy prognostication has come true. So let's move on to your week 2 start.
Yeah, so my week 2 start this week is DJ Chark versus Washington. Now, he had a very respectable week 1 here for the Detroit offense. Someone that we figured to be the number 2 or number 3 option in this offense. If you say TJ Hawkinson would be the number 2 behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Had a respectable, came in as wide receiver 22 on the week. Had 8 targets, 4 receptions, 50 yards, and a touchdown, which you love to see. The Washington defense, not great. They gave up a lot of points this last week. They're actually 23rd ranked defense against wide receivers. So, yeah, I think this is a good matchup. I think DJ Chark was being undervalued going into this offense for the season. And I really like what this Detroit offense is going to look like and what they're doing for this upcoming season. And I think it's just a really good matchup. So if you're looking for like a good flex option for this week, I think you could do worse than DJ Chark.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I am curious. So you said something very interesting, about kind of the hierarchy on that team,
Mm-hmm.
because, and this is my time where I have to give you some flowers. I have to give you some props here because
Oh,
DeAndre Swift was
I
the
didn't want to
focal
rub it in
point,
your face, but because I know
the focal point
you're so
of that offense.
anti DeAndre Swift. So
I was
I was just
so
gonna let you
anti.
base in the fact that I was right after week one. I mean, I don't want a victory lap after a week one blow up game here, but since you brought it
Sure.
up, I will a little bit.
Take that bow, Dustin. You deserve it here because if indications from this game hold over for the rest of the season, that's going to be a massive miss for me and a huge rightful connection for yourself there. Of course, we'll see if that's
Hmm.
just what the game plan was for week
Yep.
one.
Yep.
If the guys do get more involved, because as you said, in terms of hierarchy, now Amon Ra was still heavily targeted. I mean, got 12 targets in that game. That was wonderful. But DJ Chark, TJ Hawkinson, everybody was involved. I mean, Jamal Williams, let me give myself at least the tiniest sliver, just the tiniest, just to get me through this week. Cause I was a little concerned about his
Hmm.
implementation there, stealing away from Swift, and Jamal Williams did get a lot of the red zone work.
He did. I know,
Um,
and he got that first touchdown at the goal line there early in the game, and I was like,
Got
"Oh
two
no, Jake was right."
touchdowns that week. Yeah, two touchdowns out of the week. So he definitely has, sniping ability. But
Hmm.
hey, if Swift is going to get the workload that he got, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And if
And
this
Swift,
offense is going to be this potent from what we saw,
yeah,
yeah, then there's room for all these pieces on this offense to have fantasy value for you this year.
absolutely. Just real quick,
Mhm.
would you still start Amon Ra over DJ this week?
Oh yeah,
Or is that
absolutely.
even in contention? Okay.
No, no, no. Amon Ra is basically a must start until further notice. He is the
Okay.
number one option on this team.